back with Bobby and JD Radio. We are still talking about everything immigration. We had an incredible interview with Ann Ohlrich with the Ohlrich Law Firm. If you missed any of that, you go to bobbyandjjradio.com. Be a fan of the show. You can listen to the entire interview on SoundCloud on Mondays, or see your beautiful face on YouTube here in a week or so.
Thank you, JD. Thank you.
That was to Ann, not you, brother.
Thank you.
So we're going to speak with both of our specialists, top-tier professionals in the immigration law, Ann and Elizabeth. So back to the notario fraud. So what are happening to these people that go into these notarios, which is pretty much notary? What are happening to them when they're assuming that these people can help them with their paperwork and to get submitted for either a business or as an individual for citizenship?
Well, unfortunately, they're actually getting charged a lot of money.
Are they?
For the DACAs, for example, a few years ago, they were charging, upwards of $1,500 to $2,000 for a DACA, when most professionals were charging less than $500.
Sure.
So that's one thing. They're overcharging. The second.
So they're assuming that you, the professional lawyer, is going to be way more.
Exactly.
But you guys are not. Probably a third or a fourth of what they're charging them. Okay.
That's correct. Now, the other aspect of this is notarios, not being lawyers and not being licensed, don't know all of the pitfalls.
Sure.
It may be a simple looking 4-page form, but if you don't fill it out completely and correctly,
right,
you could damage their entire immigration record.
Sure.
And that's the one thing that's really important about what we do is we have to protect our clients at every stage of the game.
Right.
And your immigration record is your immigration record for life. So whatever is put incorrectly on a form, that's going to follow you the rest of your life.
Right. So, if I was dealing with this paperwork, the notario that's, in any given corner and that knows 5 languages and been there, I think and she's less expensive too to hire. Yeah. So I don't think that everyone realizes that when they're going out there. So tell me about the Seguin fraud or Laredo fraud.
Well, I'll take Seguin. You take Laredo?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Sounds good.
Seguin actually was just in the paper about 2 months ago. There was a woman who was bilking her own family members out of her Mexican restaurant. And she was charging them for immigration papers, basically telling them she was going to get them a green card when they had entered illegally. And it would only take a matter of months. Well, that's completely untrue.
Sure.
But she was charging $4,000, $5,000, up to $10,000 to her own family members.
Wow.
So this is how they work. They scare you, then they take your money, and then they never file anything.
Right.
And that's dangerous. And that's why the Office of the Attorney General here in Texas has actually had a full campaign against notarios, specifically addressing the fact that they're stealing your money,
Sure,
and they will hurt your future. But talk about Laredo.
So what happened to her?
She's been indicted federally.
Good.
She was indicted not only for the unauthorized practice of law, but also for theft and fraud.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
There is a notario in Laredo, famous notario, 2-3 years ago, I believe. She had connections with the Mexican consulate, U.S. consulate in Mexico, sorry.
Right.
And so she was charging upwards of $7,000 for investor's visa. That's all she did, which is a substantial amount.
Yeah.
That's not what we charge usually. And they were all getting approved because they were all going through the back door of this consulate.
Oh, wow.
And
So
getting
that
approved.
was pretty cheap then. If they're all getting approved.
Basically,
automatic.
because it's guaranteed,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, FBI intervened and they were all overturned.
So every single one that went through her, they were all,
Yes.
wow.
Yes.
Okay. Bad
So-
investment.
So the moral of the story is get an immigration lawyer. I mean, one way or the other, just come
You
hell
don't
or
want
high
to
water.
risk it, yeah.
Yeah, because it's such an important thing, especially, because it's citizenship of where you want to live. So
You hear that, JJ? Don't risk it.
I'm not. Never again. So what is DACA, D-A-C-A?
And DACA is the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, and there's actually 2. The original announcement was done June 15th, 2012, and it applies for anyone who entered as a minor prior to June 15th, 2007, and was still physically present on June 15th, 2012. They qualified for the original DACA, okay? And what that gave them was a work authorization for 2 years, which would, here in Texas, enabled them to get a driver's license, get a social, and get a real job.
Sure.
Okay, we had some great success stories for that. The most recent announcement, however, that was made November 20th, actually expanded the DACA, and that was for individuals who had arrived January 1st, 2010. Now, the requirement for both of these is that they are either in school, have completed high school, or have completed a GED. So most of our DACA applicants have actually already finished college.
Sure.
Now, the kind of breaking news, if you will, is there was a judge down in Brownsville, federal judge, who has put a hold on the most recent DACA announcement. It's a hold. It doesn't cancel it. It just means we were not able to submit applications today for those who had entered January 1st, 2010. That does not mean that it's canceled or closed or it's not going to happen. It just means that program specifically is on hold. So anyone who qualified for the previous DACA, you're still good
So they would have to have been here before that day.
before that day.
Right.
That's correct. And we're doing renewals right now for those who benefited from the original DACA, and they're actually getting 3-year work authorizations.
That's great.
So it's really fantastic.
What is the DAPA? DAPA.
Now, the DAPA was also part of the November 20th announcement, and what that provides actually is for the parents of U.S. citizens.
Okay.
This would enable them to, again, access a work authorization, be able to get that social, be able to get that driver's license. The one warning that I want to put out there on the DAPA, we have no forms. U.S. government has not issued any forms. They have not issued any fees. But notarios, in all their glory,
They're still grabbing.
oh, they're advertising saying, we're going to charge you this or give us a down payment for this and we'll get started. Don't pay anything.
There's nothing to get started on, right?
Exactly. There's no forms, so don't pay anyone anything, and that's the scary part. We are doing free intakes right now, so we are not charging. What we'll do is we'll do an evaluation, make sure that you were here, again, January 1, 2010, that you've been physically present since that time, and that you do have a U.S. citizen child. So what we can do is we can begin a checklist of what documents we believe they're going to be asking for,
Sure.
birth certificates, proof that you were here, all of those types of things.
Right.
Do an evaluation, and then once we have those forms, then we can get
Great.
started.
Ladies, thank you so much for joining us today. If you want to get a free intake or get some more information, you go to these ladies' website, which is ereedlawfirm.com. That's the letter E, R-E-E-D, lawfirm.com, or text Ohlrich, which is O-H-L-R-I-C-H. Again, that's TEXOHLRICH.com. They'd love to meet with you, talk to you. If you have any questions, you can contact Elizabeth at 210-314-1431 or Ann at 210-265-1062.